Another day, another election fraud lawsuit, a major election lawsuit now in Pennsylvania, which is one of the crucial battleground states that could decide who will be the next president. Right now, there are 140,000 new voter registrations in Pennsylvania, and many of them, now we learn, are reportedly questionable. The registrations were gathered, you won't be surprised to hear, by the group ACORN. That is the left-wing group that's now under investigation for voter registration fraud in at least 15 states. The Pennsylvania Republican Party now filing a lawsuit asking a judge to force Pennsylvania's Secretary of State to make sure that these new registrations are all valid. The lawsuit says that Pennsylvania's 21 electoral votes and the next president may be determined by illegal ballots without some sort of court intervention. Rob Gleason is the state GOP chairman. He joins us now by phone. Good morning, Rob.
Hey, good morning, Megan.
All right, so you're talking 140,000 new voter registrations, including 85,000 in Philadelphia, gathered by ACORN?
Absolutely. Most of them were gathered by ACORN, and I'm very concerned about the validity of these registrations.
Why?
That's
what are you seeing, Rob?
Well, I mean, the Philadelphia flagged 50,000 duplicate registrations, so just think how many more slipped through. So there's going to be a lot of people in the Philadelphia and other counties, too, that are going to be able to vote more than once. And that's one of the reasons that we're in court, is to make sure that doesn't happen. And we've asked ACORN to turn over their list. We know that they kept a list of all the people that they submitted, so we want their list, and we want the Secretary of the Commonwealth to provide a foolproof system to make sure that people don't vote 2 or 3 times.
We've seen reportedly registration forms there where the signatures were all in the same handwriting, where street addresses were found, in fact, to be vacant lots, where names were listed on the forms that appear in the same order as they do in the local phone book. I mean, there is, at least as we say in the law, a prima facie case of somebody committing registration fraud. It appears these forms have come from the group ACORN, at least in part. What does the Secretary of State in Pennsylvania now say about it?
They said it's a frivolous lawsuit and that everything's under control, but we know it's not, because under the Pennsylvania statewide uniform registry of elections, it's called the youre system, has collapsed under the volume of registrations that have come in. We've also asked the Secretary to be sure there's a lot of enough provisional ballot applications. What has happened in the past, people come in, they say that they can't find their registration, and let them vote anyway in some of these precincts. It's awful.
A real vote as opposed to a provisional ballot, which is a real vote, but it's one that can be checked up on.
And we're demanding provisional ballots for everybody that's not in the book and doesn't have a valid registration, so we can challenge those in subsequent time.
All right, so what you are asking, it's interesting because in Ohio we saw this lawsuit by the GOP party trying to force the Secretary of State to fork over this list that identified potentially problematic registrations. In Pennsylvania, what you want is for the Secretary of State to ensure that the state database being used by the elections officials is working properly. Do you have reason to believe that that database is not working properly?
Well, yeah, the city of Philadelphia told us that it's slow. In fact, it was better designed for Mayberry than a big city like Philadelphia, so it's really not getting the job done. But we're also asking ACORN. We've sued ACORN. We want them to give us their list. And the other thing that we're very concerned about is people show identification when they go to vote the first time. We have anecdotal evidence that people come in, they show nothing, they just let them vote.
What's the requirement in Pennsylvania, Rob, on ID?
You have to show a driver's license or a Social Security card. You know, our governor, he vetoed photo ID, and that's what we really need. And I just think our governor and the Secretary of the Commonwealth, ACORN, Obama, they're all in cahoots in this whole problem.
Well, as you said, they feel differently. They have called this lawsuit a desperate effort by a party that is realizing defeat just 2 weeks away. So there you have it. I guess it'll play out in the courts. Rob Gleason, thanks so much for joining us with your side of the story.
Thank you, Megan.
All right, 11 minutes.